It's time for Deadpool to assemble a team. A team to travel the cosmos, the interdimensional battles, and to team up with his own female self. That's right, we're bringing you Lady Deadpool today in the beginning of the Deadpool Corps. But before we can move forward with what you're all excited for, Lady Deadpool, I need to let you know that this video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is a wonderful, ease-of-use website that allows you to create your own website. We're even using it to make our own Eligible Monster Productions website. You see, we have so many channels now and so many things going on that the best way to communicate that with you is to make a website, and we're using Squarespace for that. And if you go to Squarespace and go to the link www.squarespace.com, Comicstorian, you can get 10% off of your first order. Just look on the screen right now how easy it is to use Squarespace. We're making our website with it. And if you want to support us and the people who do support us, then click the link and go ahead and start your website right now. Now let's go ahead and move forward with Comicstorian's complete story series. This is where we take your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into itty bitty teeny bitty bites and then we read them dramatically back to you. It's Deadpool, guys. What more do I need to say? All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Time to move forward, because I bet you're tired of hearing me talk. Deadpool! There's a war going on at the steps of the White House, and the voices inside of Deadpool's head ask why exactly are they even here. As Deadpool spots the oncoming military, she tells the voices that it's time to put a sock in it. The troops are here, and it's time to get this battle started. Wanda Wilson pulls out her radio and reports that the Smithsonian Babe has spotted the salmon that are heading upstream to spawn. The voice in the radio tells her that they've said it 100 times. Nobody talks like that or even knows what she's talking about. Either way, she should know what to do. They just need to buy her some time so that they can get into position. So backup is not an option. Wanda readies her rocket launcher and asks, who's asking for any backup? And she fires down on the oncoming tank. She then grabs her rifle, saying that it's time to kill people with this one for a while. And she proceeds to snipe several of the soldiers on the ground. That is until she's blown off the building by another tank that she didn't shoot with the rocket launcher. As Wanda gets back up, 2 helicopters fly by, spraying the ground with bullets. And Wanda says, you know, now that you mention it, I am kind of curious as to why we're in this war. One of the bullets hits Wanda in the back and she runs into the wax museum. And she says that she normally does this kind of stuff for a fat check. But what's this fighting for a cause crap? One of the voices says, well, the rebels asked. And Wanda asks if they are saying that she is simply doing this because she is flattered that they would even ask. And the other voice says, well, duh. Back outside, one of the helicopters closes in, opening fire on a shadow. And as the bullets riddle down on the Betsy Ross mannequin, Wanda says that she's sorry about that. The helicopter reports back that the target is down, and there shouldn't be anything that they can even scoop up in a Ziploc baggie. And then a spear is thrown out the window into the helicopter, with grenades strapped to the end. As the helicopter explodes, the next one gets into position, and the pilot sees Wanda jumping out of the window. She lands on the windshield, telling the pilot to take this aircraft to Cuba or Epcot. Either one works. And she begins to fire into the cockpit, and the helicopter goes down crashing. As it burns, she walks away from the wreckage, asking if she really is doing this because she secretly yearns to want to feel needed. And one of the voices asks her, are you? And Wanda falls to her knees, saying that she really just feels tired now. Another voice tells her that he can imagine she's put in a full day. She looks up at General America's metal arm, saying that that's a nice arm he's got there. General America flexes, telling her, I told you it was expensive since I don't get to heal like you do. And the two of them begin to fight, with General America beating down on Wanda and one of the voices stating that at least this guy does smell nice, like pine and shield polish. But before General America can get another hit in, there's a flash of blue light, and a voice tells the two of them, hey, I was just universe hopping and couldn't help but notice you hassling the lady there. General America shouts, it's you! And from the portal, Wade Wilson steps out, telling him, me, yeah, me! Wade kicks General America, freeing Wanda, and General America shouts that the last time you were here in this dimension, you took my arm! Wade tells him, in my defense, I did save you from becoming a zombie, which should at least put me on your Christmas card list. And as those two begin to fight, General America begins to overpower Wade, but before they can go back at it again, Wanda stabs General America in the leg. He screams, and Wade knocks him with the handle of his sword, telling him, good night. As General America falls to the ground, Wade tells him, look, I'm here because the universe needs you. The very fate of humanity is at stake here. And what I need is the help of alternate universe Deadpools. Wanda tells him, wait, this isn't some sneaky attempt at getting some alternate universe self-incest like last time, is it? And Wade tells her, no. Kissing you was odd and disturbing. I don't want any more of that. Probably not. Wanda salutes, telling him, all right, then count her in and saving the multiverse. Over in a reality a few dimensions over at Xavier's orphanage for troubled boys, Xavier asks Storm to be brutally honest. How does it look? Storm tells him honestly, and Xavier tells her, you might as well, I can read your mind. Does the wig look alright? Xavier tries on another wig, stating that when the White Queen brings her girls over for the spring dance tonight, he's making his move. You can't score with a hottie like Emma Frost looking like Daddy Warbucks. Storm then says that she knows that he wants everything to go perfect for the dance, but their new boy is still showing some severe antisocial tendencies. Xavier puts on an afro wig and says, very well. I will keep him out of harm's way by putting him in detention. Meanwhile, over in class, Kid Deadpool gives Kid Scott Summers the worst bum flossing that he's ever had in his life. Scott stands up telling Mr. McCoy that Lil Wade made my butt hurt, and Lil Wade says, stop being such a whiny punk. Hank shouts for Lil Wade to stop disrupting the class, and then he tells Scott to stop being a whiny punk. Actually, enough. Both of you go to the dean's office and be her problem for a while. Moments later at Dean Storm's office, Scott shouts that Lil Wade was the one disrupting the class by making his underwear go up his butt. Storm looks at the boys and tells them that they both get detention. Scott crawls on the desk telling Storm, please, I'll miss the dance and Jean Grey is coming in. I love her. Please. And Storm simply tells him no. Later in the danger room, Lil Wade says that this sucks. Why do they have to put us all in here? Lil Wade then jumps telling Scott that he's lucky that they don't have the codes for the danger room or he'd kick his butt in there. And Scott says, actually, I do have the codes. Being the prefect does have some advantages. The two run over to the control panel, and Scott begins to input the codes to turn the room on, and then he says, there, combat mode. Lil Wade grabs a pair of lightsabers, and the two begin to fight. And after a bit, Lil Wade says, wait, you have the codes? We could just leave. Scott tells him, no, we're gonna do our time and be done with it. And Lil Wade throws his arm at Scott, telling him, you wouldn't want that asshat Logan dancing with Jean Grey, would you? Scott tries to think of a reason to tell him that they should stay, but then he says, okay, I'll open the door. Over at the ballroom, Logan begins to dance with Jean, and she says that he knows that she likes Scott, right? And Logan tells her, he's a dork, bub. From behind the bushes, Scott asks, how is he supposed to get her away from him? And Lil Wade says, I don't know, but I'm bored. We should set fire to something. Scott says it'll give him $20 to go create a distraction. And Lil Wade says, done. Seconds later, Lil Wade jumps up from the punch table shouting for everyone to look at me! Look at how distracting I am! Logan and Jean look over and Logan says, I really hate that guy. So Kid Logan, Kid Angel, and Kid Colossus all charge at him. And after sneaking off, Jean tells Scott that she likes him. And maybe in 20 years they can get married, but she doesn't want to be tied down right now. Elsewhere, Xavier and Emma are drinking their champagne, and Xavier says that he's so glad that she accepted the invitation to come. He was hoping that maybe they could spend some quality time alone. Don't let the chair fool you. Everything works down there. Emma laughs, telling him that she's quite impressed. Maybe they could. And Storm stops them, telling them that Lil Wade is causing a riot in the ballroom. Xavier screams, Wilson! As all of the teachers and students gather around Lil Wade, he shouts that he gets it. You don't want me around. Well, you can all kiss my... And a bright light begins to shine, and out steps Big Wade. He tells everyone that he's been sent from a higher power that spans dimensions, and he needs Kidpool to help save the multiverse. Kidpool tells him, hey everyone, oh snap! I told you I got bigger and better things. Suck it! Kidpool then tells Wade that it was cool for him to help him, but who is he? And Wade tells him that he's Wade Wilson from another dimension. So to avoid confusion, he's gonna call him Tito now. Kidpool asks, Tito? And Wade says, it was the editor's idea. Long story. Now let's go do all that junk that I just said. And with that, Wade, Wanda, and Tito all head off in the next mission. Over in another dimension, Wilson the dog is about to get used as a test subject for Dr. Braun's latest experiment. Braun says, all right, lower the subject in. And suddenly Wilson is dropped in a pool of chemicals and electrified. Igor pulls Wilson back out and Braun says, it's about time that they behold what they've achieved. Wilson is then put on the table and Igor looks at the burnt dog and says, that's, something to behold, all right. Braun shouts, we was so close. Massacra X project should have worked. Just think of the women who could undergo this and have the power to regenerate mascara forever. Braun then points at dog Wilson and says to just toss him in the dumpster with the rest. But as Wilson is thrown away, he rips through his trash bag prison only to come out as Deadpool, the merc with the bark. Wilson had a hard time trying to fit in, and people hated him. They even tried to kill him. So one night, after accepting that he just really doesn't belong, he threw himself into oncoming traffic. As the oncoming cars plow into Wilson, throwing his body across the highway, a traveling circus group stopped to see if he was okay, and the clown says that he looks pretty terrible. Wilson spins around jumping up barking, and the ringmaster says that he's a resilient little one, isn't he? So Wilson, the indestructible nature, became the circus's newest and greatest attraction. He would learn all he could from the circus folk, and no matter what they tried, he would never die. But one night in the audience, Igor brings Braun, telling him that he's got to see this. This act is crazy. Down in the ring, the ringmaster tells everyone that they're about to witness the death-defying hound, Deadpool. Wilson barks as the two clowns ready their flamethrowers, and then they blast him to ash. The crowd then watches as Wilson jumps up barking, and they cheer. Back in the crowd, Igor says, "Wait, that looks like the specimen from the Mascara X project." Braun shouts, "I have an idea. Animal lovers will pay top dollar for indestructible pets." After the show is over, the ringmaster tells Wilson that he was a great show. Maybe he should get some sleep. Wilson barks and heads back out to his tent where he sees Braun and Igor. He thinks back to the test and then he growls and he lunges at the two of them. First, Wilson headbutts Braun on the groin and then he spin kicks Igor in the face. Back at Braun's lab, he says, "Fine, I'll just make a better dog, one with adamantium." And as the next dog is put on the table, Braun says that this one is more compact and vicious. "We will call him the Badger." Igor says, "Why not just call him something like Wolverine?" And Braun shouts, "That's even better!" The next night, the ringmaster announces that for tonight's show, they'll be shooting Deadpool from a cannon into a tank filled with acid. Wilson happily barks, and then Braun calls out that he'll do them one better and show everyone the death of Deadpool by Wolverine. Braun points at Wilson, asking if he thought that he could snub them. And Wilson just stares. The Wolverine jumps onto Wilson's back, biting into his neck, but before tearing through it, Wolverine then pulls out a set of claws over his paws. Hey everyone, I just rhymed a little. Wilson then runs up the cannon as Wolverine chases, and as Wolverine jumps on him, Wilson flips him into the cannon. He then barks at the clown at the controls, and the clown hits the switch. Wolverine is then shot out and flies straight into the tank of acid. Just then, Wade steps out of a portal saying, "Attention everyone! I come from another dimension, and I need your daredevil pooch to save many, many worlds. So farewell." He picks up Wilson the dog and he walks back into the portal, and as they disappear, the crowd cheers. Now over in the seas of dimensions, everyone knows and loves, a ship spots a dilapidated dinghy in the waters, and Mr. Smee says, "Oh God." The captain looks and sees Headpool. That's right, the head of the zombie Deadpool. And he asks, "What is so bad? Maybe there's something we could find on the boat." 20 minutes later, in the cabin of the ship, the captain asks Smee to tell him again how he knows this head. And Smee says, "Back then he was more than just a head. He was kind of like an avenging demon. The demon led us into a trap, and while he was adrift, that's when we picked him up. And now he's come back to settle the score." Headpool tells him, "I can't believe I've waited this long, keeping my mouth shut. I was just waiting for the perfect timing." Captain tells Smee to stop with the superstitious crap. He's gonna spook the crew. And Headpool then says, "I agree. We shouldn't spook anyone." The captain then says, "Actually, maybe this funny little thing is something that Dr. Killcraven would find interesting." The captain leans down, telling Headpool that Dr. Killcraven knows how to show a morsel like him a good time. Headpool tells him, "I'm flattered, but I don't swing that way. Generally speaking, though, after a few beers, maybe." After the crew sails to Killcraven's island, everyone makes their way to the manor, and Headpool notices a girl standing in the balcony. Headpool asks, "Who's that chick?" Do not get me started. That's the good doctor's daughter, Beatrice. Her husband went into the jungle and she waits for him to return, but he's way dead. Killcraven steps out of the manor and asks the captain what plaything did he bring today. The captain says that everything has been pretty quiet, nothing for them to raid tonight, but he does have something that he might like. The helmsman pulls out Headpool, and Killcraven tells him the heads that he has are more than just ornamental. They are trophies of his prowess. Headpool tells him, "Hey sport, I'm actually a little more animated than the heads over there on the spikes." Meanwhile, on the other side of the island, a bright flash goes off and Wade steps out, announcing to everyone, "I come from another," and then he sees that there's no one here that he's talking to. Back in Killcraven's basement, Headpool looks around and asks, "What exactly do you do down here with these potions, Professor Snape?" Killcraven says that he's on the cutting edge of science, which is why he must stay secluded. Those on the cutting edge are forever shunned by the mainstream. Headpool says, "Sure, that's exactly why you're shunned. Nothing to do with the heads on the pikes out front or your immediate social circle that resembles a TV land sitcom character." Killcraven then pulls out two devices and shouts, "I've invented some pretty damn cool stuff. First, a personal flight beanie that's controlled by brainwaves and a sonic earwax remover." Captain then calls out that they have a visitor. And Killcraven looks at the camera, stating that this man is talking to a surveillance parrot. And the captain points out that he is wearing some weird kind of clothes. Killcraven says that maybe it's rival scientists trying to steal his ideas, and then he tells the captain to go intercept the trespasser. A short while later outside, Wade is walking through the jungle pulling out his gun when his spidey sense goes off. One of the voices in his head tells him, "Wait, when did you get that?" Just then, bullets are sprayed all over the jungle and the captain shouts, "Scratch one landlubber." Wade struggles to get back up and he tells everyone, "Ahoy, dudes! Now I'm gonna totally kill your asses!" The captain and the others open fire, hitting Wade again, but then he gets back up telling them, "Okay, now it's my turn to shoot you." Back in Killcraven's basement, Killcraven watches as Wade kills everyone, and he says that it looks like he's finally found prey worth his hunting skills. So a short while later back in the jungle, Wade continues on until Killcraven lines up his sights and he shoots Wade in the head. Killcraven walks forward picking him up, getting ready to cut his head off, saying that now it's time to add his head to his collection. But Wade grabs him by the throat, saying, "That's quite enough of being shot. Where's the head?" Killcraven tells him it's in the basement and Wade says, "Thanks!" And he snaps Killcraven's neck. Later, as Wade reaches the manor, Beatrice looks at Wade and says that her darling Alfonso has come back to her. Wade tries to tell her that he isn't that guy, but then she tells him to take her. Wade figures, why not be Alfonso for a day? And a short while later, Headpool zips through the manor with a propeller hat shouting, "I know you're here!" A mostly naked Wade comes out of Beatrice's room stating, okay, hey, nice beanie, Headpool." Headpool tells him, "Yeah, the dude watching me put it on me after yelling at me. But anyway, what's up?" Wade gets dressed telling him, "I got us a gig. Basically, save the multiverse kind of a job. So step into my office and I'll introduce you to the team." As the two walk through the portal, Wanda, who is playing video games and shooting the TV, says, "It's about time you got back." With all of the Deadpools gathered together, Wanda asks, "Now that we're all here, how did this whole thing start?" Wade tells him it all started when he returned from the zombie universe. The Elder of the Universe, calling himself the Contemplator, intercepted him and his friends on the way back to their dimension. After sending Bill and Betty with him, the Contemplator said that he was charged with the task of collecting alternate Deadpools to save the universe. But as it turned out, there was another person who took interest in this matter, suggesting that they either use the robots of Centauri 9 or the Mad Folk from Crab Nebula. What it came down to was that there would be a contest of champions to see who would be the group to save the universe. Wanda then asks, "What about Headpool? Where's he at?" Wade tells her that he's taking care of the shopping. They should be. And a few seconds later, Wade and the other pools are all brought onto the alien spaceship that they will be using. Everyone pulls out their weapons to attack the alien that brought them there, but then the alien bows, telling them, "Welcome." Everyone stops and says thanks, but then Wade says, "Okay, we need to come up with names before things get even more confusing. Kidpool will now be known as Tito, Headpool will now be known as Shorty No Pockets, Dogpool will be called Cujo, and the female Deadpool will be Boobs." To which they all tell him no, they will not accept those names. A short while later out in space, Wade says that he spotted the enemy ship of robots from Centauri 9. He's going to go ahead and discuss their team's surrender. He floats through space to the ship's entry point and he tells them to open up, to which they don't, and Wade just splats against their door. Headpool says, "All right, our boy's on board." Sort of. And Wanda shouts, "Roger, I'm on my way now." Headpool tells her, "Good. I'm going to wait until you're away before I launch the meteor." Wanda then hops off of a space motorcycle, riding off towards the Mad Folk spacecraft. Once the Mad Folk lock onto Wanda, Headpool tells Kidpool to go ahead and launch the rocket. As the meteor is fired, Headpool radios to Wade asking what he's doing over there, and Wade walks through the Centauri ship, saying that currently he's surrounded and being detected. Over at the Mad Folk ship, Wanda pulls out her katana, stating that she's going to stab somebody immediately. Meanwhile, over on another planet, the meteor fired from Deadpool's ship lands, and Dogpool flops out of the hole. Back with the other two spaceships though, Wanda and Wade make their way to each of their own control rooms and they set a course for the ship, for them to each collide. And after a few seconds, that is what happens. Down on the planet, some of the Mad Folk escape the ship and they begin to scan the planet, stating that there are no signs of life. They're going to win! Another Mad Folk says, "Oh no, we were too late!" and Dogpool growls while biting into the flag. Back up in space, the Contemplator tells the Elder that it looks like he won, and that is why he selected them. The robots had no creativity, and the Mad Folk are not mad. They're more reckless than anything. A few seconds later, the Deadpools are all transported to a space hangar, and the Contemplator tells them welcome back and congratulations on a job well done. However, this is no time for celebration. You must prepare yourselves for the greatest adventure of your lives. Wade shouts. All right, then there's only one thing left to say. Deadpools assemble! And there you have it, the beginning of the Deadpool Corps, brought to you by Deadpool and Squarespace. Weirdly enough, they teamed up for this.
not really. But Squarespace did sponsor us to bring you this video, and if you want to get 10% off of your first order with Squarespace, then go to the link www.squarespace.com/Comicstorian. That's how you're going to go ahead and get yourself 10% off. And if you want to know what happens next in the Deadpool Corps, then subscribe to this channel and follow us on Twitter. Now, it's time for me to become a Deadpool member.